channel now.
Yeah. Well, they didn't miss much. Just my intro song, which might throw people on your channel off. Like, who's this Yahoo?
Hopefully they'll some of them, if anybody pops in, will recognize you from popping in on the Nerd Herd.
Yeah.
Every now and then. So Joe, I have not told you what I saw, so I am curious.
Before you tell me, we just got to acknowledge that Little Everett says Yodelay-hee-hoo.
Yodelay-hee-hoo.
All right. Okay. You said it's a horror movie, right?
It is. Yep. It was a mystery horror movie.
Mystery horror movie. I'm trying to think of what horror movie. Oh, wait a minute. Was it the one with Allison Brie and James Franco together?
Fantastic guess, because guess what? That was my guess as to what it was going to be.
Okay.
But no.
Oh, all right.
I didn't know with it being a special screening if we were going to get previews or not, but we did. We got a ton, and they played that in the previews, and I was like, oh, I guess that means I'm not seeing that, because that's what I was hoping. Even when I bought the ticket, I was like, maybe this will be together, because that's what I wanted to see. But that was not it.
Huh. I'm trying to think what horror movies are coming. Whew.
I will say I was really intrigued by a lot of the previews I saw, because every preview I saw was for a horror movie that is coming out either this year or next year. And I love, and a lot of them were made by Shudder, which is shocking me that some Shudder originals are going into the theater.
Yeah, I can tell you, a Shudder original that I saw in the theater was one of my favorite films last year, Late Night with the Devil.
Oh, I saw that. When I don't have Shudder now. I'm probably gonna fork over the money and get it again, because I did watch Midnight with the Devil earlier this year, and man, was that was a good movie.
It was a good theater experience too, because I saw it in a packed theater and everybody was into it. Now, okay. We have a guess from Senior Nerd. Senior Nerd says Weapons.
Weapons. It was not Weapons.
Okay.
Because that was another one that I would have been really good with seeing. I will say this. I had not heard of this movie before I saw it tonight. But it's not one that's that obscure either.
I'm trying to think of what horror movies I've seen trailers for lately. And other than Together, I'm blanking.
That's the big one right now, because I feel like Together comes out, if not this Friday, then next Friday.
I think so. I gotta heal up, because I can't drive right now.
Yeah, you can't have can't have rides to the movie all the time.
I'm dependent on Christine taking me to the movies, and if Christine's going to take me, it's got to be something that interests her. She hates horror films. So
that's Jess. Jess can't stand scary movies, so that's why I went by myself.
Like this past weekend, I saw I Know What You Did Last Summer, but she took me, and she and Kira went and saw Smurfs, and I saw I Know What You Did Last Summer. So we rode together, but saw different movies. Senior Nerd says Ick, that stars Brandon Routh.
No, I haven't heard of that. I do like Brandon Routh, though.
I haven't heard of that
in
one either.
Stuff that's not Superman.
I gotta tell you, the chat's going crazy. I think it's all your crew too. A lot of names I don't know.
It was a lot of folks that jumped over from Rick, the guy that we were watching at 9:00, and I get Rick ended. So I guess a lot of people that aren't ready for bed yet were like, "Who's live?" And then we went live. So. But I did tell everybody in the Nerd Herd last night about the fact that, I was going to see this mystery movie, and I was excited about it. And I did. I felt like you, though. I will say that. I felt like Crazy Joe going to the movies by myself at night. I even filmed an intro before I had talked to you about doing it, because I was like, I'll turn this into one of like Joe's review vlogs. But since we're going to talk about it here, then I won't. because folks can just come back to this video.
I think I'm gonna have to throw in the towel because I can't even think of another horror movie I've seen trailers for recently.
All right. Well, this came from Lionsgate and Miramax.
As soon as you say it, I'm gonna know.
You will, because it was directed by the writer and director of the Purge movies.
Okay.
So, and I am a fan of the Purge. The movie was called The Home.
I don't think I've heard of The Home.
Wow. Okay. So, and this was one of those movies that, like, when it got started, you know, it was like it showed all of the house pictures of where it's coming from, and there were a few that I'd never heard of, but then it threw up Lionsgate, it threw up Miramax, and then it starts the movie, and we're like 5 minutes in, and I'm like, it still hasn't said the name of this movie. Like, I don't like, you know, it's progressive with the plot. And I'm like, is this going to be one of those things where I have no clue what the movie is till it ends, and then it's going to put the name of the movie on there? But they finally did. But The Home stars Pete Davidson.
I think I did see a trailer for that. Okay,
so let me go ahead and tell you, I hate Pete Davidson. So,
me too.
Yeah, so Pete Davidson shows up on screen, and my first thought is, well, I only paid $6 for this, so okay, like I'm in it. But there were some other recognizable faces in this movie. To me, probably the second most recognizable face aside from Pete Davidson was John Glover. John Glover's been in so much, but like, to me, he'll always be Lionel Luthor from Smallville. That's probably the role I associate with him the most.
See, I got to go with Daniel Clamp from Gremlins 2, The New Batch.
Yep. That and of course the role he has in Scrooged is great too. But like, I was introduced to him in Smallville. Like, that's what will stick with me forever whenever I see him. But the premise of this movie is Pete Davidson's character grew up in foster care, and his older brother, who is actually is his foster brother, so not his true brother, but his foster brother, commits suicide when he's like 11. Like, his older brother goes off to college, is away from home, commits suicide, and that just leads him down this path to where he's getting arrested for B&E and tagging walls and stuff. But he's this incredible artist, so his murals and stuff that he's getting in trouble for are still really good. But essentially, the trouble is where he gets to the home, and his community service is that he has to go work as like the super for a retirement home, and he's living at the retirement home. And it doesn't take long for you to realize that there's something sinister and wrong going on here at the retirement home. And Pete Davidson has got to be the detective to figure out what's going on, and can he stop it? Pete Davidson does not overtly try to be funny in this. His character is much more serious, which is good, because I hate him as a comedian. He has some funny lines that come off funny because his character is supposed to be like this hard knocks, sarcasm filled guy. He does a decent job in this movie for the role he plays and the grief he's supposed to carry. There is a ongoing subplot of this movie of global warming and the fact that a hurricane is coming and is going to hit the eastern coast, and how they're not used to hurricanes happening at this time of year. So you know that at some point near the climax of this movie, you're going to get the hurricane hitting the home. Like, everything's going to come together, or they wouldn't keep coming back to this hurricane thing. So they've laid that out there for you. And like everybody at the home is weird except for a couple folks. Like John Glover, he is in his element because he is playing a former actor. And like one of the things at the home that he's doing is like leading acting classes and hosting murder mystery club stuff and things like that to essentially to starve off the boredom of these people. But there is a, you know, as he's doing his detective work, there's a pretty darn good twist in this movie that I didn't see coming. I will say, like, the reveal of what's going on, aside from the twist, is kind of a letdown. To me, at least, it was like the aha, this is what's happening. Was it didn't live up to the buildup. But I will say that, like, the last 15, 20 minutes of the film are good. Like they are really good. But I did, Jess asked me when I got in the car, I told her I was coming home, and she was like, well, what'd you think? And I seriously said, I don't know. Like I've got to sit with this for a minute because I hate Pete Davidson, but he wasn't terrible. Like he did not kill this movie. I feel like there is an underlying anti-boomer message being portrayed in this movie of the greatest generation has stolen so much from the current generation. And like the global warming thing to me is like we're blaming, you know, the parents and grandparents for what's happening now to our generation and the youth and stuff like that. So like it's I feel like it's a message of like just anger and hatred towards the baby boomers. And so I mean, and I feel like a lot of folks will get that. I even feel like the tagline for this movie, I went and looked it up after, and it was like "Evil doesn't get old" or something like that. And I'm like, that's so stupid. Overall, when I found out and saw that it was, you know, from the guy that directed The Purge and stuff, I thought it would be better. Ending is good. Again, acting's pretty darn good. The mystery is not worth the payoff. I will honestly say I would not have seen this movie just by seeing trailers. Mainly because I would not have seen this movie because Pete Davidson is in this movie. Like I would have seen that and immediately been like, no, not buying a ticket to this.
Right.
But like, if I'm going to rate this out of 5, you know, I would put it at a 3, like a 2.5 or a 3. I didn't like hate my time. I didn't constantly check my watch to see if it was almost over. Like I enjoyed it for what it was. It wasn't the best movie I've seen this year by far, but it also wasn't the worst movie I've seen this year.
Okay.
So I will say that. So if anybody, I will put this warning out there for anybody that actually likes Pete Davidson and, you know, is interested in this movie. And had I seen a trailer or had I seen the poster for this ahead of time, I would have been a little more in the know. There's a lot of body horror in this movie that I was not prepared for. Like I don't do body horror. Like I can handle some of it, like in stupid gory 80s movies, if somebody's arms or legs are getting chopped off. I can even do Repo Man, but like I'll put this out there because if you see the poster, if anybody looks up the poster, you're going to know this. There's a lot of stuff dealing with the eyes, and no, like don't mess with my, like that's one of those things that like I can feel it. If you're going to show me that, like pass.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I have like I can never wear contact lenses or anything. Like my eyes are sensitive, and just anything with the eyes, it's just like no.
Yeah.
Well, there
But
you go. The Home.
The Home, starring Pete Davidson, from the writers and director of The Purge and the studio that brought you Halloween.
You know what my connection to the Purge franchise is?
What would that be?
I'm not a huge fan. I thought the first couple were pretty good, but I lost interest as they went on. I think I made it to like the Purge 3, and then I kind of tapped out. But my connection to the Purge is the night of the Purge in the movies is my birthday.
Like they chose a Tuesday for the Purge.
In the movies, the Purge happens on March 21st, and that's my birthday. I remember I watched the Purge 1. I'm like, oh wow, my birthday is the Purge. Okay.
I enjoyed the first couple, and I enjoyed the first Purge when they put that out. I know that's a sequel, but it meant to be a prequel. But I don't know what I really didn't know what to expect, because again, I had no clue what this was going in. But I left there thinking I would have been happier seeing so many of the ones that were on the previews, more so than what I ended up seeing. Although I did see a preview for the Toxic Avenger, the unrated Toxic Avenger with Peter Dinklage, and I was like, eh.
I hear good things. I mean, I think that got pretty good reviews. And it's weird because it got really good reviews and then it sat on the shelf for like a year. So I don't know what's the story with that movie, but it is getting released. I don't know. That's an interesting one.
I'll tell you what's hysterical to me, at least, is the preview that got the loudest reaction from the crowd, because this theater was actually this movie was very well attended. I was very surprised how many folks were there. But the preview that got the biggest response was Bambi, The Reckoning, from the directors of Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Because you see this deer, just this monster of a deer, goring people and things like that, and then at the very end it pops up Bambi, and like the whole theater starts just dying laughing.
I really liked the first trailer for Bambi the Reckoning. I thought it looked hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
But then they did a full trailer and you saw like the deer like has like I don't know, it's like got big fangs and things. And I was like,
it's ridiculous. It's way over the top.
See, I feel like it would be funnier if it was a regular deer killing people. Like
a monster, yeah.
Yeah, I think that would make it more comical, but I don't know. Hey, we got this comment from Terry Talks Movies. Terry Talks Movies says, Purge I never liked seemed to be trying to justify U.S. gun culture. I don't know that I can agree with this, because I think I took it as a satire. I don't think they were glorifying it. I think they were criticizing it.
I think it was just the opposite too. I think it was, we're doing this to kind of poke at all the gun loving people.
Yeah. So there you go, The Home. Well, thanks for the review.
So if you're afraid of old people, if you're afraid of body horror, if you're afraid of growing old, because that's a true fear for a lot of folks, and if you can stomach Pete Davidson on a screen for an hour and a half, this movie is for you. I will say, if you don't despise Pete Davidson, you might enjoy this movie. He is in everything. Like, you don't get a break from him at all.
Yeah, I am not a fan.
Joe will not put this on his watch list.
No, do you know what got me about Pete Davidson? I got to go back to the first time I ever saw the guy. I'm going to bring up a very controversial person here, a person that people probably hate more than Pete Davidson. I first saw him on the Comedy Central roast to Ann Coulter. And Ann Coulter Ann Coulter like made a comment about him, about Pete Davidson. And I didn't know the guy, but here he's a comedian. He's on Saturday Night Live. And whatever comment she made, his response was he went, okay. And I remember thinking, you're a professional comedian. And that was the best comeback you have for Ann Coulter. Like, I mean, she's a goldmine of comedy. There's so many things you could have said, but that, like, okay, that's what you came up with. And I'm like, wow, this guy is talentless. Like what kind of comedian? That's all they could pull out as their comeback.
Well, I mean, that's what I'll say. I'm glad that they did not put him in this as a comedian, because he is not at all. Like, again, his funny lines are throwaway lines that you would, if it wasn't him and they replaced him with somebody else, like I don't even have to name somebody. It could be anybody. It could be, it wouldn't be Pedro Pascal, but he's in everything else, so why not? Yeah, this movie's more appealing.
Those are the two rules of cinema. You know, the two rules of cinema. If you're making an animated film, you are required by law to hire Awkwafina to do one of the voices. And
I thought you were going to say John Raffensperger.
Not anymore. That was 10 years ago. Now it's Awkwafina.
Now it's Awkwafina.
Now you're required to have Awkwafina as in your voice cast if you're doing an animated film, and if you're doing a live action film, you are required by law to have Pedro Pascal in the cast.
Somebody I saw on X a couple days ago, somebody was asking, like, now that Superman's out and Superman's a hit, who's going to play Zod? Who's going to play Zod? And everybody's like, it's just inevitable. It's going to be Pedro Pascal. But my favorite response has been the folks that, I'm sure you've seen it, the folks that are campaigning for Henry Cavill to be Zod.
I think they may already have, we may have already met Zod.
You think we met? Are you thinking that Jor-El is actually Zod? Is that your?
I've been thinking
Bradley Cooper.
It's very possible that was not Jor-El, that was Zod.
I did not realize that was Bradley Cooper.
or my other theory is that Brainiac tampered with the message.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
What were your thoughts? Since I've got a lot of folks in here that don't tune in. What did you think of Superman?
Man, I've seen it 3 times. I love it. By the way, I would have seen it more than 3 times. If I were under my own power, I would have seen it more than 3 times. But again, dependent on rides right now.
Yeah.
Man, I love it. I absolutely. Hang on, I got to go slightly off camera here. One of my favorite characters of all time is right over here. I have always loved Guy Gardner. Guy Gardner is my favorite Green Lantern. He's one of my favorite DC characters, and I never thought the day would come
that he would be in a movie.
Guy Gardner would be in a movie played by one of my all-time favorite actors, Nathan Fillion.
I love Nathan Fillion, so I was really excited.
And I got the movie figure right there. So I got 2 guys, like a comic guy and movie guy.
I love Nathan Fillion. I was excited to see that. He did not disappoint in that role whatsoever. The Justice Gang. Are you kidding me? We saw that at the drive-in last week. So that was quite the experience, watching this movie that way. I am thrilled that this is the big screen introduction for my kids to Superman. I'm very glad that they didn't see any of the DC EU before this. They haven't seen the Brandon Routh Superman from the early 2000s. They haven't seen any of the Christopher Reeve versions. I'm thrilled that this is the version of Superman, of Lois Lane, of Perry White, of Jimmy Olsen, and my God, of Lex Luthor. Nicholas Hoult knocked it out of the freaking park as Luthor. I mean, just a hater. Hey, Mandy.
Yeah, I definitely think that Nicholas Hoult is the best Lex Luthor we've ever had, and Rachel Brosnahan. might be the best Lois we've ever had.
She was that conversation, that 15-minute or so interaction of the two of them with the interview. Man, are you kidding me? That 9 times out of 10, that's not in a superhero movie, but that was fantastic. That was Lois and Clark.
Yeah. Up till now, and look, it's a show that's got a lot of problems. Don't get me. I know the show's got a lot of problems, but
hey, if you can put up the comment that Embarkation Nation just wrote in there, because
we saw it
this
and loved it.
100%. James Gunn nailed the crap out of this. But why? Because my kids are still talking about crypto. Everything has that 100% was for the kids. And crypto, that was genius what he had crypto do in this film.
And I love the fact. Can we? I don't know. Can we go minor spoilers here? I don't know who in the chat has seen Superman yet, but based on the box office, it's everybody.
It's been out a week and a half now, right?
It's been 2 weeks now.
2 weeks?
Yeah, over 2 weeks. But I'm gonna get minor, not super spoilery, but it's like it's not in the end. It's not even his dog.
Nope, that's what makes it even better.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, like when Lois says, like, you're going to do all this for a dog, and he's like, yeah, he's not even a good dog.
Yeah, that makes that whole conversation 10 times better when you find out at the end that crypto's not even his, that he's just dog sitting.
Yeah. Man, I love that movie. I love that movie. It's so good. And there's a particular run of comics that is my favorite. And that was from 1987 to 91, 92, early 90s. Keith Giffen and J.M. DeMatteis were doing a book called Justice League International. Mm-hmm. Well, at first it was called Justice League International. Then it split into two, and it became Justice League America and Justice League Europe. But it was still, you know, the umbrella was the international team. And it is, I think, the greatest run of any comic book ever. And it's where we really got to know Guy Gardner. Oh, by the way, Guy Gardner, let's just say something about Guy Gardner here. Guy Gardner is now the most successful Green Lantern in movie history.
Yeah.
Sorry, Hal Jordan fans. Sorry, this is the most successful Green Lantern in movies now.
I will say, though, his portrayal, if they were hoping that his portrayal would get excitement up for Lanterns, the series, it has. It has for me. I'm very excited to see Kyle Chandler, and I'm blanking on the other guy's name that's going to be
Aaron Pierre.
Aaron Pierre.
Pierre. I thought Pierre for a second there. I thought Pierre was the first.
So excited for that series now. I'm really excited for everything coming. The preview we got for Supergirl. Kara's going to be a hot mess, which she finally deserves to be. You know, we've never been presented with that version on the big screen or small screen. So I'm excited for that. The boys are excited for that. They were really thrilled to hear that, you know, she's going to have her own movie next year.
And my daughter said, you know, my daughter is about to turn 18, and she said Supergirl just stole the movie.
Comedically, without a doubt, she did. Yeah, the fact that she rolled in that way. So seeing hers, which, you know, she's going to be a hot mess the whole time in it, and we get Lobo in that movie too for the first time, so that'll be interesting. Like, there's a lot of potential for what he's doing. James Gunn laid the groundwork wonderfully in this movie, and did you see or hear? Yeah. Instead, we're going from look up as the Superman quote to look out as Supergirl, which is fantastic. Did you see the quote Kevin Feige had about Superman?
I don't think I did.
It is heaping praise on James Gunn. But my favorite part is he said, he's already built this world. He's not here to go back and tell you all the breadcrumbs. You don't know who Mr. Terrific is? Tough. You're going to find out.
You know, this brings me to something I read Kevin Feige write about the MCU. Thunderbolts. movie Thunderbolts, there is something that has been said about the MCU a lot recently. And a lot of people have been saying part of the reason MCU projects have been failing is there's too much homework involved. Like if you don't watch all the TV, well, that's the thing. That's where I'm going to dispute, because I don't believe it's true. And Kevin Feige said that. Kevin Feige said in a recent interview that people thought there was too much homework for the Thunderbolts. Well, if I didn't watch the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and if I didn't see Black Widow, and if I didn't watch this project, I don't know who these characters are. And he said, but what they didn't understand was you didn't need to watch those things.
No,
we're going to tell you everything.
No, they're all hot messes.
Right.
And you find that out pretty early.
Everything you need to know, we're going to present to you in this movie. And it's like, if you've seen the other things, it will enhance your enjoyment, but it's not required. Like, you're not going to come in here. And I always compare it to like any of us who read a comic book as a kid. If you picked up a Superman comic or a Batman comic, we weren't starting with issue number 1.
No, none of us were.
Right. So you would pick up a comic and like Superman would be like, Lex Luthor, last time we met, you tried to sow kryptonite to my face. And, we didn't read that issue, but it would say like at the bottom, see issue 5, or they would give you the little notation.
Or you'd read 2 or 3 more and you just catch yourself up because the lore is in there.
Right. Right. You get thrown into it. You get thrown into it and you pick up what's going on from context. So the idea that, well, there's too much homework was never necessary. And Superman just proved that, because we were thrown into the middle of a world with characters we didn't really get an introduction to, but everything we needed to know about them was present in the film. So you didn't have to see Mr. Terrific's origin story.
Nope. But can we talk about Mr. Terrific for a second? My Lord, the job he did in this movie. Are you kidding? Like, I can't speak for the Black community, but I don't know if a Black superhero has been that cool in a film. Like, truly, I mean, he's nerdy, he's geeky, but he also had that just like, I don't care, I'm awesome. And and he made brains. He made brains cool because he's the smartest guy around. He was smart, he was funny, and he had the best action scene. Like, he gets the best action scene, but he also gets like some of the biggest laughs. Like where he's like, "Wait, you put nanoprobes in Superman?" Oh yeah, I put him in all. I do it in everybody. That was really. I do it in everybody I meet. And it's a throwaway comment too. It's like I'm not joking. This is who I am. This is what I do. But I'm excited. I'm excited to see the Justice League be built off of this. I am very excited. I didn't feel like I needed to go watch Creature Commandos before this. I know that's what started it all. I know the only carryover from Creature Commandos was Rick Flag to this movie. I do have a question for you, Joe, because you probably know Maxwell Lord, minor character in this movie. You see him once and you hear.
But they broke the rule. He wasn't played by Pedro Pascal this time. There was nobody played by. They
broke the film rule. Who played him in this movie? Do you know?
That's Sean Gunn, James Gunn's brother.
Okay.
He's Kraglin in the Guardians of the Galaxy movies.
And Weasel, and he's everybody. Yeah. So I didn't know, because it was so quick of a thing. Like if it's going to be one of those things where Maxwell Lord's going to have a bigger presence moving forward, and with it being Sean Gunn, it could be or it couldn't be, because Sean Gunn he plays so many people.
Well, we already know that we're going to see Max again in season 2 of Peacemaker, because he's in the trailer. I don't know if you've seen the trailer for season 2 of Peacemaker, but it starts with Peacemaker auditioning to get into the Justice Gang. So we will be seeing him again. And the Justice Gang is owned by Maxwell Lord.
Yep.
Which
And I thought we were just getting the name drop when we found that out. So I was not expecting to see him near the end like we did.
Now, one thing I love is James Gunn has said in interviews he feels the way about Maxwell Lord that I feel about Maxwell Lord. Now, like I said, my favorite comic book of all time is Justice League International.
Yeah.
And that was the comic that introduced Maxwell Lord to the world. Maxwell Lord was the leader of the Justice League. He was the guy who put the league together. He kind of was the one who called the shots. You know, he wasn't he wasn't the field commander, but and Max was kind of a sleazy businessman with a heart of gold.
Yep.
He would often do the wrong thing, but he always meant well in the end. And I remember, like, in the final issue of the series, Martian Manhunter has a conversation with him and tells him how he's his most trusted ally. He's like, you know, you're one of my closest friends in the world. I trust you so much. That's what he tells Max. And those writers who created this character left the book. And the next issue, a new writer came in, Dan Jurgens. And Superman immediately tells Maxwell Lord, we're not going to have any of your crap, Max. You're not running this team. I am. You know, and he basically puts Max down. And I just remember thinking, did this writer actually read the last issue?
Like, yeah, they just redeemed him completely, and
right
now we're casting him aside.
And then a few years later, a different writer came in and they made Max into a stone cold killer. He killed Blue Beetle. He shot Blue Beetle in the head and killed him. And then Wonder Woman ends up killing Maxwell Lord. And I remember reading these books and being like, this isn't the character I know.
Yeah.
This isn't the character I know. And I meet a lot of younger people today who actually weren't reading in the 80s and 90s. And they started reading a little later. And they're like, well, Max Lord's a villain. Max is a villain. And I'm like, Max is not a villain. That's not who Max is. They tried to like change him into that, but that's not. And whenever I hear Maxwell Lord is going to be adapted to live action, because he was on the Supergirl TV show, and he was in Wonder Woman 84, played by Pedro Pascal. And every time I hear Max Lord's going to be in something, I'm like, well, I hope they get Max right. I hope they don't do the Max that shoots Blue Beetle in the head. I want the Max that has a heart of gold. He's not a bad guy. And
just makes bad decisions with the best intentions in mind, but
right.
still just makes the wrong choice. Yeah.
And I read James Gunn. That's what his Max is going to be. And I'm like, James Gunn, his version of DC is the version of DC that I have always loved.
Yeah.
So,
and you know, I think we all knew we were in good hands with James Gunn after the Guardians trilogy and all the input he had on those characters to take obscure Marvel characters and make them household names. And now he's being trusted with arguably the most famous superheroes, period, worldwide forever. I will say I do have some questions that I'll come back to here in just a second. But with Peacemaker, there were a couple things I wanted to say. First, spoiler alert, that cameo got a huge reaction. So Peacemaker's a freaking hit, if we didn't already know that. And second, when Peacemaker season 2 comes out, a lot of it was filmed in my area. So I actually have some on-location footage of Peacemaker from last summer that I have been holding on to until after the release of season 2, because we weren't supposed to film anything. So I did not want to put it out prior to the show, but I've got footage while they were actually filming. And, you know, I put it out as a short and on TikTok last year, but Ty and I got to meet John Cena coming off the set. And so that'll be in there, and our thoughts and reactions to that. So once season 2 comes out, I'll finally put this, it'll be a year old video by then, but excited for that. The big question I've got for this new DCU or that James Gunn is doing, he has said we are getting an older Batman. We're getting brave and the bold Batman who's essentially training, I'm guessing, Robin to take over. I am very curious what that looks like, because even though this will be, the kids' introduction, like I said earlier, to Superman, to Lois, they know Batman. Most kids have an idea of Batman. How old are we talking here?
I'm assuming they're going to go 40s. Like, I think they're going to make him about maybe 10 years older than Superman, because he's got to be a dad. He's got to be a dad of a teenager. But I don't think they want to make him too old either. So I don't know. I would guess 40s.
I'm glad we're not getting the tired and true. Oh my gosh, Terry, for real? No, I don't. Nobody wants to see that. My fan cast personally for Batman, and there have been several out there, but I'd love to see Alan Ritchson get it, because he's been asking for it, and I just like the idea that Thad Castle becomes Batman.
I have one issue with Alan Ritchson, and it comes from I was watching the movie he did last year with Henry Cavill. Was it the Society? The Bureau of Ungentlemanly Warfare, I think it was called. Was that the title? And I'm looking at him, and he is so jacked. Like, I mean, he is huge. He's huge, and I kept looking at him and thinking, well, the problem with him playing Batman is he can't play Bruce Wayne. Like, you've got to be a little more unassuming to be Bruce Wayne. Like, I think you need to. I don't think. Obviously, Bruce Wayne has to have some muscle to him, but I don't think it should be so much that it's that noticeable.
Yeah,
because he does need to kind of blend in and
he's a tech billionaire.
Right.
He's got the League of Assassins background and Ra's al Ghul and all that stuff, but even then, he's not jacked. He shouldn't look like he should win a fight with Bane.
Yeah. And so it's nothing against Richardson himself. I just think he's too big. I like one guy who's been fan casted and has put it out there he wants the role. I wouldn't mind Jensen Ackles getting it.
Oh, I'd be all for that too.
And Jensen Ackles, I gotta say, I feel like that would be his DC redemption, because I hated
him in Smallville.
I hated him in Smallville to the point that I didn't watch Supernatural for years.
That was me. I did the same exact thing. I was like, they're giving this guy his own TV series, and I hated myself after watching Supernatural and falling in love with that show. I was like, man, they did him so dirty, so dirty.
Yeah, what was his name on Smallville?
I just remember he was like
Jason Teague.
He was the assistant football coach, and he was just, oh man.
He was like brought in as Lana's new love interest, wasn't that it? Or 1 year. He was only on the show 1 year. Then he left to do Supernatural. So
that was enough to taint him. I see Terry said Hemsworth for Batman. It can only be Liam Hemsworth, because Chris is too big. You can't have Thor be Batman.
Also, I think Chris Hemsworth, I know he's doing another Thor movie, but I think he said he was looking to step back from a lot of these big movies because he had some health issues.
I think he's wanting to spend more time with his family too, but he's also the guy who pretty much has said multiple times, if they need Thor, I'm there. I think because he loves playing Thor. And which I'm fine with. The more we get of the core group together, since Captain America has ridden off, Steve Rogers has ridden off into the sun. We're not getting Tony Stark back as Iron Man. It's good to see some of the OGs still around. Now, I know we've got to build up their replacements, but again, that becomes okay, at what point does the younger generation get these superheroes that they're familiar with?
Well, Kevin Feige, and I got to be honest, I didn't read the whole article. Here I go. I'm going to do what I hate other people doing. I hate it when people don't do the research and they start to. So I'm going to come out right up front and say I didn't do the research. So if I get this wrong, please bear with me. I'm not trying to mislead anyone. But there was a quote recently where Kevin Feige said something to the effect of, after Secret Wars, they're going to kind of
Reboot
in continuity reboot the universe. And they're going to recast Steve and Tony with younger actors. Like it's gonna kind of get reset. So we'll get Steve and Tony back, but a lot of these actors will be replaced with younger actors. But it'll be done in the continuity of like what happens in Secret Wars.
If that happens, I feel like there will be a lot of backlash. But if it happens as a minor thing, while what we do know, and he said publicly, the mutants take center stage, then I think it becomes less of a thing if you hit a home run with who you've cast as your X-Men.
Yeah, and also, we look at Tony Stark and we're like, we've only had one live action Iron Man. We've only had one line, so we think RDJ owns that role, but if you look at all the Superman and all the Batman we've had over the years, it's like you can recast these roles. Like these guys didn't originate the role. They were originated in the comics. So now here's something. Terry says Timothy Chalamet for Mr. Mixes Pitalik. Okay,
Yeah,
I'm going to get in.
You got to give Chalamet a bigger role than that.
Well, I'm going to get into another minor spoiler here, but Mixius Pitalik was in the movie. He was in Superman, though we didn't actually get to really see him because he was that weird shape they were fighting out the window.
Oh, okay.
Because Superman said, she's like, do you need to go deal with that? And he said, oh, no, they got it. It's just an interdimensional imp. And I'm like, oh, my God, it's Mrs. Pitalik.
He's just a giant eyeball looking thing here in this universe.
I guess he could take whatever shape he wants.
Mm-hmm. For me, whenever I think of that, and this is going to date me for sure, but that's Howie Mandel, because but see, you still haven't seen the Adventures of Lois and Clark.
I'm still working my way through Lois and Clark.
So that's Howie Mandel in there, and he does a fantastic job. He's in a couple episodes.
Now you see, to me, I always think of Gilbert Gottfried because he was the voice on the cartoon, and I remember on the Superboy TV series, it was Michael J. Pollard.
Mm-hmm.
So the funny thing is, like, they never, they always pronounce the name slightly different. Like I remember on Superboy, on the cartoon, to get him to say his name backwards, he had to say Kill Tipsy Zim. But on Superboy, they got the same letters. They just pronounced it differently. They were like, he's got to say Kill Tip Zixum. James says, anybody see the Nicktoon Glitch Tech's great show? I've never heard of that, James. I
can't say I have either.
Whew, it's getting hot down here.
Down in the basement.
By the way, we're pretty close to August. We're getting to August.
We are, unfortunately.
I am as the days grow closer, I am incredibly jealous that you guys will be getting together at the end of August in Atlanta, and I will not be there this year. And I'll tell you the truth, I don't think I'll be there next year either. I don't think I will get back until 2027 because we've got some bills we're trying to pay off, and I'm looking at the budget and saying I can't justify it. But I am very sad I'm not going to be there.
Yeah, we're definitely going to miss you. That's for sure. I'm only going to go Friday and Saturday this year, I think. I don't think I'm going to make the drive up there Sunday like I did with you and Greg, unless the guys talk me into it. I'm excited to go and have dinner Friday night Ryan and I have already talked about that a little bit.
Remember, you got reservations while we were there last
Yeah,
week.
we did. That was smart. We made reservations a year in advance. And then, of course, Saturday. Golly, Saturday is a worn out day. Speaking of,
look at that.
Look who just popped in. It's like he heard his name get called.
Just talking about you, man.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I mean, if I didn't live here, I'd probably be in your shoes too, of not being able to, get down every year. But the fact that I only have to drive a half hour and, am able to come home and not shell out for a hotel room, I'm just lucky by location.
Absolutely, Greg. Who would have bad things to say about you?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Greg,
except that guy on YouTube who makes crap up. I can't remember his name. I don't think I'd want to say his name anyway because I don't want to give him free advertising.
Greg's fantastic.
But no, there was that guy. There was that guy who took clips from our Dragon Con trip last year, and was trying to spin it that Greg went alone and nobody else was there with him, and everybody ditched him. And he's like, yeah, Greg was there, and I commented on the guy. I'm like, you're full of shit. I'm like, there were Ryan was there, I was there, Zach was there, and we're all in the video. You're taking clips that we're not in and trying to spin it to your audience that Greg was all alone. I'm like, drives me crazy. I don't like dishonesty.
Greg, since you're here, I want to make sure I heard this right. Was this your first trip out to Disneyland? Like you'd never been out there before? Going out there for
yeah, I almost forgot. Greg was hanging out with Jack Black.
Because I heard somebody, I think I heard somebody say it was your first trip. So I'm because I've never been. That's bucket list for Jess and I is to get out to Disneyland and do Disneyland and Universal and Knott's Berry Farm. So I was just curious what you thought of it if it was your first time going out there.
I personally, I've only been there twice, but I like Disneyland, like the actual park called Disney. I know there's two parks, but the actual Disneyland park, I like the Disneyland park better than I like the Magic Kingdom. Because it's very much like the Magic Kingdom, but it's got some of my favorite rides that left Florida, like Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. Mr. Toad's Wild Ride was my favorite ride in Disney.
Yeah, I love Mr. Toad's
still
too.
There. Still there.
That's one of my goals is to get out there. Hopefully it's not in the cards for it to go away, but I want to get out there to experience that again and have my kids experience it for the first time.
Yeah, so I got to get back to Disneyland too. I'm not going to be traveling for a little while, but we got a kid starting college. We got everything hit at once. So,
yep, I feel you. We're going to start feeling that itch. Like we've got, we're going on a cruise in September.
You've been getting around, man. You've been to just we're at the what was it? Epic Universe? I almost said Wild Universe.
Yeah. We were at Epic a little over a month ago, and then the boys and I were just back down in Lakeland so that they could attend a spooky summer camp for the week. But we're about to start school back up. Like I go back to work Thursday, so Dragon Con will be the big thing for me in August, and then late September we're going on this cruise on our break. But then after that, I've got a cruise. We've got a cruise booked for Thanksgiving of next year, and we've got a cruise booked for Valentine's Day week of 2027. But then I've also got to start factoring in trying to get Chad a car, as scary as that sounds, because he'll be 15 next year and, right. 16 and 27. So I've got to start putting money away or to the side for that on top of everything else. Disneyland is like Magic Kingdom in Florida, but plussed up and smushed together.
I'm trying to hang on a second. Here, give me 1 second here. I am going to, Greg, if you want to join us, I'm texting you the link right now. So
it's a work night for Greg.
Well, if he's free, I'd like to get his thoughts on that new that new Pac-Man Nintendo system that I saw, or not, Pac-Man Atari 2600 Plus thing that I saw advertised today. And if anyone's going to know about that, it's going to be Greg, because he is the world's foremost expert when it comes to Atari.
Greg is our go-to. Any gaming question, I'm going to come to Greg with.
So I'll tell you, last night, and I don't go to a lot of concerts anymore. As I've gotten older, I don't go to a hell of a lot of concerts anymore. But last night, I took my daughter, my 10-year-old, to a concert. We went to see her favorite artist, Cyndi Lauper. And
how big was that venue?
It was pretty big. And I've been there once before. It's the Mann Music Center in Philadelphia. And I was there once before in 1987. So I haven't been there since 1987, where I saw the Monkees and Weird Al Yankovic there in 87. But it was a heck of a show. It was she did a good job. And my daughter was very happy. She was grinning ear to ear when she sang Girls Just Want to Have Fun. So
that's awesome.
So that was a good time. I'm glad we got to do that. I didn't think I was going to be able to go because of the situation here.
Oh, dude. Hey, I hate to bring you sad news. But Malcolm Jamal Warner passed away. Yeah.
I actually meant to bring that up at the top of the show. That's really sad. Too young, 53. Apparently he drowned. He was swimming and the riptide got him.
Yeah, that's happening a lot lately. A whole lot. But super sad.
I hear he was still working regularly too. I mean, I don't watch the show, but I heard he was on a medical show on Fox.
I can't say. I don't remember the last thing I've seen him in. I know those Wayans boys, they hustle hard.
Well, I know he did. He had that show in the 90s called Malcolm and Eddie, and he had a sci-fi show on Showtime called Jeremiah that he did with Luke Perry, and sadly both of them have passed.
Yeah,
I never watched Jeremiah, but it was created by J. Michael Straczynski, the creator of Babylon 5, and I'm a huge Babylon 5 fan. So you would think I would have watched. But you know what it was? I didn't have Showtime back then. I don't know if it's streaming anywhere, but I may have to catch it now. But that's a shame. Like I think it was pretty well received at the time, and I hate to be negative here, but Terry ain't wrong.
You got that right. He's not.
Where is it? I'm going to do my inappropriate drop here.
In my drink, didn't
you? Oh my gosh, that's horrible. Oh, the face is so good.
I don't know what movie that was. I have no idea what movie that was, but I'm watching TV about a year or two ago, and that clip, it was like whenever I was watching, they showed that clip of the woman going, "Bill, you put something in my drink, didn't you?" And my sick mind just went, "Oh, I need that clip, and I got to throw Cosby."
It's so good. Oh, Pastor Ron. Hey, Pastor Ron. Thanks for coming into the chat. It's been a while.
Oh man, look at this! I'm playing Cosby jokes when the pastor gets here.
He is not a real pastor.
Bless me, Father, for I have sinned. Oh boy, did you ever see the video where Lisa Soares sent Dave and I the lunch boxes in the mail and said don't open them until you're on camera?
No, I don't think I did.
We were doing a bit called the Lunchbox Bunch. We had done the Lunchbox Bunch was a regular bit Dave Perillo and I did where we would review old lunchboxes. And she sent us some lunchboxes, but asked me not to open them until we were filming.
Mhm.
And one of them was the Fat Albert lunchbox. And when we reviewed all sides, we looked at the front, we looked at the back, but then we always would open it up and take out the thermos and
Yeah.
check out the thermos. But when we opened it, she had put a pill bottle in there and made a label that said Quaaludes on it. So we weren't expecting it, and we pulled out a bottle of Quaaludes.
And of course, you're on camera at this point and probably just killing yourself. Celeb Simmons. Ooh, I bet Ryan filmed that too.
Yeah, I was watching some of that on Adam's channel, and and Adam was trying to remember the movie that Anton Yelchin, Star Trek's Anton Yelchin, starred in, where he and a date were watching movies at the Hollywood Forever Cemetery. It was Joe Dante's Burying the Ex. I am a huge Joe Dante fan, and oddly enough, that year, two very similar movies came out. There was Burying the Ex, and Aubrey Plaza did one with a very similar premise where someone was dating a zombie. And I'm blanking on the title of that one right now. But it was weird. They came out the same year. And Burying the Ex was the better. I got to look that up now. Someone in the chat, if you know the name of that movie, Aubrey Plaza, zombie, dating a movie. Wolverine Man says, wait, you're on again?
Yeah, I know. That's how I feel lately. I was like, Joe asked me to be on. I was on earlier with Jess talking Epic Universe earlier this afternoon, but I was like, I need to go on with Joe. I need to talk about this movie. I let me go ahead and get it out there. And long story short, if you don't like Pete Davidson, don't go see the movie. If you do like Pete Davidson,
Life After Beth. Life After Beth was the title of the movie with Aubrey Plaza. Good to meet you, Dan. By the way, if you're, I think most of the viewers. Oh, Danny. Excuse me, Danny. Excuse me. Well, it looks like most of the viewers are coming from your channel, which is nobody. See, that's weird. I guess it's my own fault because I don't go live anymore. I don't go as live as much as I used to, so I guess people have dropped off. But I used to get a crowd. I don't get a crowd anymore. Even I sent the link out. I sent the link to you, obviously, but I sent the link to a couple of my regulars, like Little Movie Perp.
Yeah,
I haven't heard from any of them. I don't know where everyone is tonight.
It's a Monday night.
That's true.
It just so happens, that it's still summer for me, so I'll get to sleep a little bit tomorrow. So staying up too late doesn't hurt me, and I think Jess has already gone to bed. So,
well, it has been about an hour, so I don't know if you're ready to wrap it up. I don't really have any.
I'll answer that for you, Mike. So, last night I said that I was going to see a movie tonight. I didn't know what it was because it was like a sight unseen thing. I just knew it was going to be a scary movie that I was previewing, and that it was $6. So I went. I had an idea of what I thought the movie was going to be. I was wrong. It was not that movie. It was a movie called The Home, with Pete Davidson in the lead role, and he is working as like a super at a retirement home where some sinister stuff is going on. So that was the movie that I saw.
Here's a couple names I recognize. We got Butts Unplugged. Hello from the UK. Good to see you, Butts Unplugged. Media Archive Mike is here. Good to see you. So there we go. Fuzzy Adventures and more. All right. Yeah, I am going to have to be going live more often. Okay, look, I'm going to put something out there. If you are watching and you are a content creator, then hear my words, because maybe we can work together. Because here's the deal. I have been hemming and hawing about paying for a year of StreamYard. I was looking at alternatives to StreamYard. I was looking at EvMux is one of them. I was checking them out, trying to find good pricing. And I was already, I was really thinking about signing up for EvMux. as a streaming platform. But this weekend, StreamYard had a sale. And their sale brought the price down to only slightly higher than what EvMux was offering. So due to familiarity, due to the fact that I know StreamYard and most of my friends are on StreamYard, I thought, well, what the heck? And I took the plunge and I paid for a year. This is really a bad decision, if we're being honest, because my channel isn't what it used to be. I'm not as I don't get the views that I used to get, and I'm not making much off this channel. So a year of StreamYard costs more than I actually make in revenue from YouTube in a year. So it's a bad decision, but I did it. So I'm thinking the version of YouTube I have, I got the core plan. It allows 2 seats. And what that means is 2 people can have a log on, their own unique log on. So, you can be added as the second seat and you can sign in, whatever. If somebody is interested in going halves and joining me and we'll go in halves on StreamYard, contact me. crazyjoeadventures@gmail.com. Send an email to crazyjoeadventures@gmail.com and you'll get your own sign in, your own password. I'm just asking that you pay me roughly half of what I paid. I'll even cut you a deal. It could be less than half, but just so I get, some of my investment back, because I don't make much off this channel. And, I think that I think it could work. They give you enough storage hours that we can both be doing stuff and not stepping on each other's toes. So contact me, crazyjoeadventures@gmail.com. If you're a content creator and you are interested in going in on this year of StreamYard with me that I just paid for today, let me know. So
I think it's funny you chose to do that, because I think we're about to switch over to EVMux. Because I split the cost of StreamYard with the Nerd Herd guys. And I mean, for what we're currently paying, we can get that through EVMux for, I think, more than or less than half of what we're currently paying. So it's going to be, in fact, this might be the last time I'm on StreamYard. It may be EVMux from here on out, unless I pop in on somebody else's stuff.
Well, I'll tell you, the thing that kind of pushed me over the edge is, number one, StreamYard was having a sale, and they told me it's going to end in a couple days. So it's like, well, you make up your mind quick.
Time sensitive.
And I also signed up for EVMux, and they offered a 7-day free trial. And I found that a lot of the film clips that I use, like my intro, I couldn't upload them. Like, I kept trying to upload them and it kept saying there was an error. And I'm like, well, if I can't even upload my film, my video clips that I use.
Yeah, that would be a problem. I wonder if it's the file that it doesn't accept that particular file. I'll have to look into that.
I'll tell you what, if you want to sign up right now, like if you go sign up right now for EvMux, they're going to give you 7 days free.
Okay.
So as long as you cancel before those 7 days are up, you're not going to get charged. So you might want to sign up, test the waters, see if it's something you want to do. And if it doesn't work for you, get out. Because that's what I did. And then I made the plunge back here. But
that's what I might do then over the next couple of days before I go back to work. Just start getting in there and playing around with it and seeing.
And I'll tell you, like I said, if somebody wants to join up with me and share this account, all I'm asking for is actually $100, which is less than half of what I paid. That's less than half of what I paid for the full year. That gives you 12 months. So let me know if that interests you. Just, make it more profitable for both of us. I guess that could cause. No, it wouldn't. I was going to say maybe it would cause confusion if somebody sent like a super chat or something, but no, because the super chat's coming from YouTube. It's whatever channel you're streaming on. That's not coming from StreamYard. So yeah, no, that wouldn't even be an issue.
Well, all right, Joe, I think I'm going to call it so I can go to bed and make sure my kids are in bed. But Thanks for inviting me on and let me talk about my mystery movie.
Yeah. Hey, look, before you go, since we were talking about Dragon Con, let me do this one quick drop from. You weren't here, but we would have been better if you were. But here's a clip from Dragon Con a couple years ago.
All right, I'm here with Greg from Greg's Game Room. Look what he got in the dealer's room.
I got the orange.
Hey, Maury!
Yeah, show me this.
Hey, Maury!
Who's calling Maury?
Maury!
Wait, who is that?
Hey, Maury!
Who's calling for Maury?
Get in here!
It's not me.
Get in here, Maury!
Who's calling for Maury?
Quick, turn the camera around. Turn it around. There he is.
Oh, good times.
Did you ever hear the Maury story?
No.
Dave Perillo and I went to see Us, the movie Us. Jordan Peele. And I don't know if you've seen the movie, but it's there's a lot of tension built in that film. Horror, a lot of it is atmosphere and tension. And there was a very suspenseful moment, and they'd really built up the atmosphere, and you can kind of like what's going to happen. And some jackwagon throws open the door of the movie theater and starts screaming, "Hey, Maury! Hey, Maury! You in here? You in here, Maury?" Broke all the tension in the scene.
Just gone.
Yeah, so Adam had heard that story, so he started messing with me.
This movie tonight had a lot of that setting and theme of building up the tension, just not as good of a payoff.
All right. I want to thank Zach for joining us. If you are not subscribed to Zach, go over to Coker Culture, give him a sub. And if you're coming here from Zach's channel and you've not subscribed to me, hey,
Check out Crazy Joe.
We'd love to have you. And I just realized now I'm wearing a Flynn's Arcade shirt, and Greg was wearing a Flynn's Arcade shirt in that clip.
In the clip.
So, all right, everybody. Until next time, keep wearing those pajamas.
Good night, everybody.
Keep wearing those pajamas
With the plastic feet.
Keep wearing those pajamas
Tell everyone you meet.
Keep wearing those pajamas
With the back door flap.
Keep wearing those pajamas
Don't open it, it's a trap.
Oh no!
It's a trap. Some people call them peaches. Some people call them jammies. They can come embroidered with big money and no whammies. They can have 100 tiny commander Adamas. But no matter how they look, just keep on wearing those pajamas.
Keep wearing those pajamas
I know we're having fun.
Keep wearing those pajamas
And now the song is done.